While in Europe, the energies become more expensive, the leaders of these nations tell their citizens that they should not take to the streets to protest, that it is worth everything to defeat Putin. The Russian economy has not been affected by sanctions so far. This war has been going on for almost 8 months. The Russian economy is not stuttering. Russia's technology has been mainly affected by the sanctions. Still, I think most of the world is feeling the pressure in that area. People in Europe are very dissatisfied with energy prices. We are discussing coal, liquid gas, water, electricity, etc. It is a disaster. How are families going to live in the next few months? Let's think for a second about the elderly, families with babies. They will freeze. Is this democracy or tyranny, where only the 1% get to eat and have heat during winter? Via Familia in cyberspace. Even the tower in France is said to now only light up at certain times because they are saving energy. The consequence of this energy in media war will affect tourism. The lack of tourism and the cost of energy will close many businesses. Let's remember that Europe was on a different level of thinking. They wanted green energy, whether it's solar or wind. Europeans have to return to coal, firewood, wood for cooking, which affects them psychologically. Who wouldn't be affected? It is like going back to the past. Self-esteem must be on the ground. Must feel like returning to the 16th century, where the only ones who had enough energy were the wealthy, the royalties. Let us remember that green energies were not working at the level necessary to maintain humanity's economic status, but it was a short-term goal. Family, the world recession is about to begin, and the countries that will suffer the most are in Europe. It does not mean that North America will not have its struggles. Families in North America can already see food and energy prices rising. Honestly, this is going to get worse. The world recession is not going to end in 2023. It is going to continue until the war between NATO and Russia ends. We know the NATO's wars last 20 years. Example, Afghanistan, Iraq. Cyber family. Today's video is about the damage that sanctions imposed on Russia are causing Europe. European leaders, subservient to the head of state in the US, continue to devaluate their economies and impose mandates on their citizens. Welcome to another great video on your weekly news cloud channel. I sincerely appreciate your support. Please don't forget to leave a comment, give a like to this video, and please share it. Cyber friends, Europe announced the 7th package of sanctions. 6, they haven't learned from the 6. Maybe one more will do the trick. These sanctions against Russia are only helping Russian economy. Price of India, Pakistan, and Iran, emerging economies, are buying these energies at promotional prices. European leaders' stubbornness made them buy power from India or Pakistan. Where the India get their energy from? From Russia. They want to buy it from third parties or third countries and pay 3-4 times the price. I remember that a few days ago, Volodymyr Zelensky had claimed victory, that they had defeated the Russians in some territories. Well, that party didn't last. The parliaments of Donbass, the People's Republics, and and civil military administrations of the Kherson and Zaporizhia regions have decided to hold a referendum on the future of these territories. Geopolitical experts are sure that these regions will vote in favor of joining Russia. They already had an election back in 2014 when the coup against President Viktor Yanukovych happened. You may think that there is fraud in these referendums. Well, let me tell you. Back in 2014, 72.4% of the inhabitants in that region were Russian speaking. The countries that make up NATO say that Vladimir Putin did not like the coup against Viktor Yanukovych since he was pro-Russia, and that is the reason why Putin decided to attack Ukraine as revenge. They forgot that the neo-Nazis who took over Ukraine government started attacking Donbas area. Here we can say that NATO admits to the coup, and at the same time they didn't want anyone protesting, so they decided to attack the damn Russians. Keep your mouth shut. Right? And so that's when everything started. When Russia is protecting their citizens, family members living in Donbas area, say, well, no, they did it because of the coup, you know. It has nothing to do with them speaking Russia. Since 2014, Ukraine has been attacking Donbas region, continue to do so until today. Some news networks say that the hidden soldiers are Russians, and that at the same time, those same networks say that the Russian soldiers are the ones attacking the nuclear plant. So the Russian soldiers are attacking themselves. The Western media does not longer know what to say. It's like when you say a lie, so many lies, that at the end you end up confusing yourself. You forget what lie you said. You start to contradict yourself. So with this said, we can understand why comedian Zelensky was not going to sign a peace treaty, because it was all part of the plan. He became president because it was all part of the plan. The plan is to wear down the Russian economy. The sanctions imposed against Russia are only hurting everyday Europeans. The US already recognizes that European citizens will suffer a harsh winter. I think everyone, maybe Russia and the US knew about this. The only ones that didn't know about this plan are the Europeans. Energy prices are through the roof. And the Secretary of the US Treasury was the one who announced it. She also commented that the US would not have to suffer the same consequences as Europe. Dear friends and family, are you starting to understand what has been happening in this region? Things are going to get nasty for Europe. In Germany, the price of wood for cooking or heating homes has risen by 85%. I'm talking about Germany, which used to lead the green energy movement more than any other nation. Nowadays, we can find reports of people stealing scams on the internet, creating fake websites and taking people's money, but not delivering firewood. Energies such as gas are at inflated prices. I think businesses will soon begin to close, as well as industries, and we will see people lose their homes because renters will not be able to afford the rent and the energy prices. If you're still paying mortgage and your fabric and the place where you work closes down, where are you going to get the money from? Incredibly, today's European leaders want to support the Nazis so much that they sacrifice their own nation, who suffered so much during the world wars against the Nazi Germany. EU governments talk about democracy, but at the same time, they are forcing the citizens to live a lower life that they are used to. Citizens are angry as they can't afford food. Politicians are saying for people to bath in pairs. Many irrational suggestions. Will schools shut down because of freezing temperatures? People will lose their lives in a few months due to the cold, and hospitals will not be able to function for lack of energy. For a lack of energy, my friends. The chance of losing surgeons and other people is essential for society's functions are high. The European Union is disarming itself. The weapons they bought from the USA went to Ukraine. Tons of these weapons are destroyed by Russia artillery as soon as they come in. These officials and politicians lack a brain, from my point of view. Ukraine is not part of Europe. It's not part of the European Union. Zelensky and the neo-Nazis Azov should sit down for peace talks. Be a man. Or the European Union should tell the US that if they want to fight Russia, they can. After all, the US sanctions do not affect anyone if Europe does not back them up. It's the US going to say, okay, England, France, Italia, Italy, you all have, I will sanction you. And they're going to say, okay, we will support your sanctions. No, right? What is happening in Europe now is a plan from the Grand Corporation, and I made a video back in 2020. Economic experts have already warned that the recession is inevitable. The European central banks do not want to admit it, trying to avoid the rapid fall. What is left? A slow but painful fall. Many European nations have people demonstrating, such as France, Germany. They announced the recession that the demonstrations will be more significant. Those who do not believe or know how hypocritical the United States is, let me clue you in. The United States is destroying Europe and also Russia, at least trying to destroy Russia. A master move. The US understands that recession is here and does not want Europe to become economically more robust than them. So the recession will affect everybody, but the United States is afraid that at the end of the recession, Europe will come out stronger, and that's what United States doesn't want. Next week I will bring you the video on the Rand Corporation, more specific on Ukraine. I can't believe that the European governments can't see what is happening to them. Europe is the one that will lose, but I see China as the most benefited from all this, and the United States knows it, which is why wants to cause troubles in Taiwan. The US doesn't care about Taiwanese people. They don't even care about their own citizens. They only care about the corporations or capitalist corporations not to go down. Right? That's everything they care about. Let me say goodbye for today with this last point. Why don't we call what's happening in Ukraine an invasion? Why is it called a special mission? Here comes. Russia entered with 4 million soldiers when it went to war against Nazi Germany. During this war, 400,000 people died. The denazification of Ukraine began March 24th this year, 2022. Russia entered with 150,000 soldiers. The population in Ukraine is of 44 million people. And the Ukraine military size, it's only second to Russia in Europe, right? The war against Nazi Germany lasted less than a month. Remember, I'm not talking about when the Nazis attacked Russia. I'm talking about when after Russia defeated those Nazis that attacked them, and then they went into Germany. The story of Ukraine would be different if Russia would have entered with all its might. The war against the Nazi Germany lasted less than a month. Well, my friends, that's everything for today. Thank you very much for watching this video. I invite you to watch my other videos. Don't forget to help someone in your community, as you might be the only one who does. Ciao, ciao for now.